Good morning, grade sixes. I hope you are super well. Welcome to WorksheetCloud's grade six mathematics lesson for today. The email address you can see on your page, grade6@worksheetcloud.com, is the email address to use if you have any questions or queries on this lesson or any of the previous lessons, or perhaps any topic that we haven't covered that you are unsure of. Guys, please feel free to email me and I'll answer your questions during the next lesson. Okay, our schedule for today is your warm-up and your mental maths questions. We'll do a multiplication of fractions recap, and then we'll look at adding decimals today, and then we have your brain bender and challenge to finish off with. Guys, remember that at any time during this lesson, you can pause, rewind, fast forward, and I encourage you to attempt the work that I'm working through with you by yourselves instead of just waiting for me to tell you the answer. It's always a lot more beneficial to try and work something out by yourselves and then to check with the teacher afterwards as learning takes place at a higher level. Okay, so your warm-up activity today is again to use your math skills to work out the value of the symbols, and then don't forget the pink question mark at the end. So now would be a great time for you to press pause while I'll work it out, and then when you're finished, just press play and see if you guys have managed to get what I've worked out for you. Okay, so now press pause. Okay, so we'll just work this out on the Jamboard quickly. There are 6 girls wearing those hats in the top line. So we know that 54 divided by 6 is 9, but 2 of those girls make up 18. So therefore it's 18 add 18 add 18 to give you 54. Okay, now I know I need to add 18 at the bottom. So what do I need to add 18 to get to 54? And those high visibility vest workers need to equal 36. So I know that 6 multiplied by 6 is 36. Then add 18 is 54. Okay, if 2 high visibility vest workers are 6, then 1 must be 3. Okay. 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. What do I add to get to this 20? So I must add 11. Okay, 3 times 3 is 9 plus 11 is 20. And then to work out the pink question mark at the end, it's going to be 18 plus 6. And I'm going to put the multiply 11 over here, as I'm just worried about the space in the bottom right hand corner. Now if you go and work that out, you should be doing the 6 multiplied by the 11 first, okay, which is 66. Add the 18 to that and you should get an answer of 84. Okay guys, so well done if you work that out by yourselves. And as I normally say to you, if you struggled through it and you made mistakes and you went back and you corrected it and you eventually got to the correct answer, excellent from you as well. Okay, your mental maths questions for today are looking at previously taught principles. And again, I'd like you to press pause, work through the 5 questions, see how you go. It's a really good indication to show yourself what areas you need to revise a little bit more than others. So now would be a good time to press pause. Okay, so your mental maths questions for today. 2/5 multiplied by 5. So remember, 2/5 multiplied by a whole number, 5, is the same as saying 2/5 plus 2/5 plus 2/5 plus 2/5 plus 2/5. But writing it out in a long addition sum is time consuming, and we know that if the denominators are the same, we just add those numerators. Okay, so the same thing with multiplication. We can just multiply the whole number 5 by the numerator 2, and we will get 10 over 5, and you should all be screaming at me and saying 10 over 5 is equal to 2. Okay, remember that a fraction means numerator divided by denominator. Okay, question 2. If there are 1,440 minutes in a day, how many are in a week? So that is the question that you should be looking at. So if I split that 1,440 up, I would say 1,000 times 7 is 7,000. 400 times 7 is 2,800. And the 40 times the 7 is 280. Okay, now if I add all of those numbers up, I'm going to get 10,080. Okay, you could have also used a column method in multiplication. It would have got you to the exact same answer. Okay, let me just clear some space while we work through the remainder of the questions. So question 3 asks you to use the split strategy that we did a few lessons ago. So I'll just wait for it to clean. I'm going to have 137 multiplied by 9. Okay, and your split strategy is going to be 100 times 9. 900. 30 times 9, 270, and then 7 times 9, 63, and I'll put the answer down in the corner. Just worried about my cutout blanking out the answer. And once you've added all of that stuff together, you should get 1,233. Okay. The next question is just a straightforward addition question. 13,657 at 3,117. Okay, and that's just just to refresh some calculations, addition for you. And the big thing here is to put the correct numbers in the correct columns. Okay, 3,107. Okay, and then the next thing to remember is to carry when you add when numbers are equal to more than 10. Okay, let me just clean that one up for you. 7, 6, and 1. So 16,774. Okay. And then the last question was adding fractions, which is something we've done recently. Okay, and I alluded to this at the top in question 1. When we add fractions, the denominators need to be the same. So I've given you a clue there. Remember the lowest common multiple or the lowest common denominator in fractions. So I need to make the 9 and the 7, the two denominators, I need to make them the same. So what is the lowest common multiple of 9 and 7? And if you write out the 9 times table and the 7 times table, you'll see the lowest common multiple is 63. Okay, so what did I do to the numerator? Sorry, what did I do to 9 to get to 63? I times by 7. So therefore I must multiply the numerator 7 by 7, and that's going to give me 49. Okay, and for 4 over 7, I multiplied the 7 by 9 to get to 63. So therefore I must multiply the 4 by 9, and that's going to give me 36. And then when I add those two together, I'm going to get 85 over 63, which is an improper fraction. Now that can't be simplified. There's no number apart from 1 that goes into 85 and 63. If they asked you to then convert that to a mixed number, you'd be looking at 1 and 22 over 63. Okay, Guys, well done if you got those and if you've remembered those past principles. If you haven't and you're still confused, then on this exact website, WorksheetCloud.com, it's got all the past lessons that we've done. Go back, they've all got their titles. So if you're struggling with multiplication of fractions, look for the lesson that says multiplication of fractions. If you're struggling with the different types of strategies to use when multiplying, then you can go back and look for that lesson and replay it and just revise those principles. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at adding decimals. Okay, so when we add decimals and we use the column method, the most important part about adding decimals is to make sure that the numbers are in the correct column. So, for example, you've got 4.9 or 4,9 plus 6,4. 4 of 4.9 is 4 units. It must be in the units column. The 9 from 4.9 is 0,9, so 9 tenths. And the first number column after the comma is the tenths column. Okay, so 9 must go in there. All right, so it's of utmost importance that you put the correct numbers in the correct column. So I'm going to do B for you. A has already been done for you. So B is 84,2 plus 34,6. Okay, if we go back to our Jamboard, there are the questions there. So if I'm looking at, let's make this a bit bigger for you. Okay, if I'm looking at B, I'm going to start on the right-hand side with my smallest numbers. So the numbers to the right-hand side of the decimal are your smaller numbers. So the 2 and the 6 is 0,2 plus 0,6, and that's going to give you 8, okay, which is 0,8. All right, the decimal must be in exactly the same place. All right, so line the decimal up. The 4 and the 4 is 8 again, and then the 8 and the 3 makes 11. So my answer there is 118,8. Okay, go give C, D, E, and F a go. Press pause now and then have a look after you've completed C, D, E, and F to see if you got those questions correct. Press pause now, guys. Okay, well done on working through those 4 examples. I'm just going to go through them. So the tenths column, which is this column here, okay? The 4 and the 1 add together to make 5, all right? Remember, this 5 is actually equal to 0,5, all right? The first number after the decimal is the tenths column, T-E-N-T-H-S, okay? So remember, the comma lines up in exactly the same place. The 0 and the 5 are added together to make 5. And the 6 and the 2 are added together to make 8. So we've got 85,5. Okay, here for D, some of you might be looking at it and going, what do I add the 7 to? Okay, so the 9,2 at the bottom can also be written as 9,20. Okay, so the reason the 0 is left off is because it has no value. So 9,2 and 9,20 are equivalent. So I can put that 0 back in there if I wanted to. Okay, so now I've got 7 plus 0 is equal to 7. 0 and 2 is equal to 2. And 3 and 9 is equal to 12. Now, what have I left out? And I'm hoping that you scream at me going, you've left out the comma. Because at the moment it's 1,227, which is completely wrong. So I just wanted to do that to highlight to you how important it is to put the comma in place. And again, I'm going to highlight it for you. The commas always line up. Okay, they never change position. It's the numbers that change, not the comma. Okay, right, let's get to E. And again, we've got 4.1, but 4.1 is the same as 4.10. Okay, so now I've got 0 and 4 make 4. I've got 1 and 4 make 5. Okay, and here I've got my commas again. Okay, so that comma needs to be there, and then the 4 and the 3 equals 7. And my last one, the 2 and the 7 is 9. The 0 and the 8 is 8. And the 7 and the 1 is 7. So guys, it's pretty much the same as adding normally, but the most important thing, and I'm going to say it again, the decimals must line up. Okay, that is crucial, crucial, crucial. Okay, so well done if you worked through those and you figured them out. Okay, the next activity is a little bit of a challenge, a decimal addition challenge. So you've got 3 magic squares. So the instruction is in magic number squares, each row. Okay, so that's each row going across, each column, so each column going down, and each diagonal. So the diagonal going from left to right, and the diagonal going from right to left. They all need to equal the magic number. So in the first one, it's 4,5, and I have this on the Jamboard. So on the first one, it's 4,5. On the second one, it's 6,0. And on the third one, it's 1,5. Now again, you're going to have to press pause here because this might take you a few minutes to work out. But it's a really, really good exercise to see if you understand the addition and subtraction, because you're also going to have to subtract a little bit of decimals. And it's a nice activity because it's only a single unit and a single tenth involved. Okay, so go ahead and press pause and try to work them out. But just to remind you that the rows need to equal 4.5. The columns need to equal 4.5. And the diagonals need to equal 4.5. And just remember there are 2 diagonals. Okay, both of them need to equal 4.5. Okay, so go ahead and press pause, and let's see if you guys can work them out. Okay, so well done if you've worked through all of them. Okay, let's have a look if we can work them out together. So I'm first going to start with this square over here. Okay, I know that 2,4 plus 0,3 is 2,7. Okay, so what is left there to get to 4,5? And I work that out that that's 1,8. Okay, so some of you might be saying how? Well, 2,7 to 4,5. Okay, the first thing I did was I went to 3,0. So from 2,7 to 3,0 is 0,3. Then I know from 0,3 to 4.5 is 1.5. And then I just added the 0,3 and the 1.5 to get me 1.8. Okay. My next step is going to be the top row. And you didn't have to start where I started on the column. You could have started with the row. You should still get the exact same answers. Okay. 2,4 and 0,9. So there, the strategy I'd use there, I'd say 2,4 plus 1 is 3,4. But then I need to go back 0,1, and that's going to give me 3,3. And I need to add in 1,2 there. Okay, so 1,2 and 0,9 is 2.1, and then plus the 2.4 is 4.5. Okay, now I'm going to go to the middle square because I need the diagonal to also equal 3. And at the moment, for that diagonal, I've got 1,2 plus 1,8. Okay, from these two. And that is equal to 3. Okay, so what's left in the middle is 1,5. Right, now we'll look at the middle column, this one here. Okay, and again I've got 0,9 plus 1.5, so I'm going to say 1 plus 1.5 is 2.5, and then go back 0.1, so it's 2.4, so I know that this must be 2.1. Okay, and now I can say 2.1 plus 0.9 is 3, and then add that 1,5, and that gives me 4,5. And then the last column I need to do is the column on the left. So I first work that out by working out this bottom square. So I can see 2,1 plus 1,8 is 3,9. Okay, so I'm left with 0,6. And then I just need to work out this little square over here. It's 1,2. I need to add this 1,2 and this 0,6. Okay, that's going to give me 1.8. All right. So for me to go from 1.8 to 2.5 is going to be 2.7. Okay. So guys, really good way to test your knowledge of adding and subtracting decimals. Let's go through the second one. The second one, I'm going to start with this square here. So 1.6 plus 1.2 is 2.8. I need to get to the magic number of 6. I'm going to go from 2.8 to 3. And I know that that's going to give me 0,2. And now I need to go to the 6. So that's another 3. So then this one must be 3,2. Okay. Let's clear some space. Right, then I'm going to go into the middle row. Okay, remember rows go across. So I'm going into this row. And I'm going 1.2 plus 2.8 is 4. So all I need there is 2. Remember 2 can be written as 2,0 or 2. It's equal to the same amount. I'm going to leave the 0 off just to make it look a bit neater. I'll then go into the diagonal over here. Okay, and 3,2 plus 2 is 5,2. So all that's left there is the 0,8. Okay, and now I can choose where I want to go. I can go into this square, or I can go into this square next. So I'll go to the bottom first. 1,6 plus 0,8 is 2,4. And that leaves me with 3,6. And if I go up the middle column, I need to add 0,4 there. And now to work out the remaining square over there, you can either go across the top row or down the right hand side column. Either way, once you've worked it out, it's going to be 3.6. What do I need to get to 6? And that's going to be 2,4. Okay, right, last one. I'm going to go in the middle. I need to get to 1.5. So that's going to give me 0,9. Okay. I'm going to go diagonally. And 0,5 and 0,8 is going to give me 1.3. So that's going to be 0,2. Across the top, I need 0,4. Down the right hand side, I need 0,3. Right, the second diagonal from right down to the left corner is 0,6. And the last square you can do either in the column on the left hand side or the middle row. Either way, you got 0,8 and you need to get to 0,7. Okay, so 3 really good challenges there to test your addition and subtraction of decimals. Well done, guys, if you managed to work through all of those. Okay, well done if you've already pressed pause and have gone and worked it out by yourself. Let's have a look at how we're going to do this. Okay, so we know it's a multiplication table, so we fill in the numbers that we have. Okay, and then it's just a case of trying to work it out. So remember, sometimes you have to not really guess, but use a trial and error method. And sometimes those numbers don't work, so you might need to start again, but there's nothing wrong with that. Majority of people will have to do that. So 4 times 2 is 8, and the 3 times the 4 is 12. Okay, make that 12 a bit better. Okay, then it's a case of saying, what did I multiply this 3 by to get to that middle 18? And it's going to be 6. 3 times 6 is 18. So 2 times the same 6 must give me 12. Okay. Then I'm going to look and say, what did I multiply this 2 by to get to this 14? And that's 7. And you can see that we are correct there, because this 3 multiplied by the same 7 is going to give me the 21. Okay. Now I need to figure out what multiplied by this 6 is going to give me this 48. And that's going to be 8. Okay, and this same 8 multiplied by this 4 is going to give me 32. Okay, and then the last square on the bottom right is 8 times 7, which is 56. Okay, so quite a nice little way to just revise and practice your times table in a little bit of a puzzle format. So guys, well done if you got that puzzle correct. Okay, then your challenge for today is to play the 24 game again. Okay, so remember, you're using all 4 numbers on each card and plus, minus, multiply, divide to get to the answer of 24. You have to use all 4 numbers, but you can use whatever operation signs you can. You can use an operation sign more than once. So for example, you could have said 6 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7, if that works, or 5 times 6 minus 6 plus 7. So it doesn't matter. Just remember your order of operations, and challenge someone at home to see if they can get to 24. And my additional challenge to you is to see how many different ways there are of getting to the answer of 24. Right, guys, that's all for us today. Please remember to email me, grade6@worksheetcloud.com, should you have any queries about today or previous lessons. Remember that you can access the previous lessons on the same website. There's a link at the top taking you to previous lessons. There's also various activities for you to do with memos. So please use those to your advantage. And yeah, guys, I really encourage you to ask any questions that you may have. If you've started school this week, then all the best. If not, then you've been given this great service by WorksheetCloud to keep you on top of your academics. Right, guys, keep safe, keep well, and see you tomorrow. All the best.